Ladies and gentlemen, if Zimbabwe ever runs out of fuel, the Job Sikhala story could power the world nation. The man once celebrated as a symbol of resistance, the fiery voice that roared against injustice, now finds himself entangled in a mystery so bizarre it sounds like a movie script that escaped the cinema. A story involving secret meetings, night shadows, and 26 explosives discovered beneath a car seat in Pretoria. If that isn't explosive politics, what is? Now, here's the story. It begins at Wonder Park, an ordinary shopping complex where family buy groceries, teenagers hang out, and the only explosions are from sales promotions. But on that fateful day, Wonder Park turned into a scene from a spy film. Sikhala, we are told, went there to meet some friends who promised financial help. Noble on the surface, suspicious underneath, because instead of meeting inside the mall like any normal broke man would, they chose to meet outside, near the bushes, in the dark. A place where birds sleep, not where money changes hands. The story gets stranger. One of the men, we are told, claimed his phone battery had died and he needed to charge it in Sikhala's car. So, they all walked to the vehicle. Moments later, boom, not literally, but close enough. As they drove off, the police stopped their car. And as if following a perfect script, they found the explosives neatly placed under the seat. 26 of them. Not one, not two. 26. As if someone was auditioning for a demolition contract. Now, let's pause and think. How does someone drive around with 26 explosives and not know? Were they wrapped in silence? Were they invisible? Or did they just appear there the moment the sirens went off? And even more importantly, if this was truly a friendly meeting to hand over some cash, why was there even a need to meet physically? It's not like the cash was handed over to Job Sikhala physically, it was transferred. Ladies and gentlemen, this is South Africa, the land of e-wallets and instant transfers. No one needs to sneak around bushes to send money. Unless, of course, money wasn't the main thing being exchanged. Here's where it starts to smell political. Sikhala had just come from a book launch in Botswana, a place with airports, scanners, and customs officers who check every bag like it's a crime scene. So, if the explosives came from Botswana, how did they pass undetected through airport security? Not just in Botswana, but also at OR Tambo. Did someone deactivate every scanner from Gaborone to Pretoria? Or were the explosives planted later, perhaps in South Africa, perhaps closer to the scene by someone who knew exactly what they were doing? Because let's face it, nothing about this story adds up. If Sikhala was buying explosive, what for? He's not leading an army. He's not in the bush waging a war. He's a politician. He's more of a Twitter politician than a bush politician. And the only thing he has ever detonated is a government's ego. So, unless he is planning to blow up the corruption narrative with a bang, the explosives make no sense. If on the other hand, they were meant to be smuggled into Zimbabwe, then the plan was illogical. Zimbabwe's underground market sells everything. You could buy explosives easier than you can find a decent loaf of bread. Why risk smuggling them from South Africa? Unless, of course, Sikhala wasn't smuggling anything. He was being smuggled into a trap. And this is where the word setup refuses to leave the room. Because everything fits too perfectly for coincidence. The late night meeting, the dead phone, the sudden police raid, the conveniently found explosives. It's the kind of operation that screams orchestration, not random chance. If this was a movie, it would be called The Sting at Wonder Park. But in real life, it's called politics. The timing also stinks of strategy. Job Sikhala was rebuilding himself after years of persecution. He was regaining traction. His name was trending again. His narrative of injustice was finding global sympathy. And then suddenly this. A scandal so heavy it could crush his credibility overnight. Because once you are linked to explosives, your image goes from political prisoner to potential bomber in seconds. It's the oldest trick in the authoritarian playbook. Frame the dissident, paint him as dangerous, and let the public lose faith on its own. No bullets required, just headlines. And yet, despite the logic of a setup, some questions still hang in the smoke. What if, just what if he knew more than he's letting on? What if desperation or mistrust led him into a deal gone wrong? Or what if those friends weren't strangers at all, but long-time acquaintances with hidden motives? The truth is buried somewhere between those bushes at Wonder Park and the courtroom, where this story will soon explode again, this time under oath. When the trial begins, many hearts will tremble, because this isn't about Job Sikhala. It's about what he represents. If he is vindicated, it will be proof that dirty tricks still haunt opposition politics. But if the evidence shows he was involved, the disappointment will echo far beyond Pretoria. It will shatter a symbol. And in politics, once a symbol is broken, it's almost impossible to rebuild. So, people must be prepared, because when evidence starts unraveling, loyalties will wobble, and those shouting, "We stand with Job," might slowly fade into, "We didn't know the full story." And if he was indeed set up, the masterminds will celebrate quietly, having succeeded in doing what years of imprisonment failed to do: destroy Sikhala's political fire from within. Until then, all we can do is watch the smoke from Wonder Park, a place that has suddenly become a metaphor for how politics operate in our part of the world. In the dark, among the bushes, where truth and lies meet to exchange something far more dangerous than money. And when this case finally detonates in court, the blast will not only shake Sikhala's life, but also who is really pulling the wires behind Zimbabwe's never-ending political fireworks. So buckle up, Zimbabwe. The trial hasn't even started, and already it feels like the nation is sitting on a ticking bomb. When the truth finally explodes, one truth is certain: not everyone will survive the fallout. Subscribe to Zimwaves TV, where we don't just break news, we detonate it piece by piece until the truth stops hiding in the bushes.